Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber here once again to give another Book of Boba Fett Star Wars episode review. Episode 5, Return of the Mandalorian, and blimey, what a great return it is. All that stuff. In many ways, this episode feels more like episode 17 of The Mandalorian than episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett. But anyway, time to get into the summary as we begin with a sort of like a beginning episode where that appears to be a butcher's warehouse where the Mandalorian is there to collect a bounty of the guy who runs the place. Let's see, one of those dog aliens, the Clatoonians. Yes, I believe that's the correct phrase. But Clatoonians, of course, he refuses to go, so a fight ensures in which he ends up killing the Clatoonian and all that stuff using the Darksaber. He still has it. Let's see, but unfortunately he also ends up damaging himself with the Darksaber on his leg and all that stuff, wounding him. Here he goes to collect his bounty from let's see, I'm trying to recall what the the alien is. Hold on, let me just see if I can get the first appearance. Nope. No. I think it's an Issa Tib Guildmaster, maybe? Let's see, hold on. Species. Where's the damn species? Species on the wiki. It's a no, and Isha Tib, maybe? Yeah, an Isha Tib, the sort of like well, this one was blue, but it's a sort of like beak, sort of eyed alien figure that you might have seen a little bit in the prequel trilogy, as well as I believe it's the original trilogy. I'm trying to look at its appearance history. It's most of the prequel trilogy. Oh wait, no, it actually first appeared in Return of the Jedi, part of Jabba Hutt's guild, one of the creative aliens and all that stuff. But anyway, let's see. She wants Din Djarin to sit with her and talk more business. However, Din Djarin just wants some information, and it turns out that information leads to where, Din Djarin's tribe is, the Children of the Watch. Let's see where the survivors are left, which only two others are still around: the armorer and the member of the clan Vizsla, which Pads Vizsla and all that stuff, in which the muscle one that was voiced by Jon Favreau for a bit, but I think they've changed the voice and all that stuff. Anyway, let's see. The Mando ends up with showing the armor of the Darksaber, as we get a bit of a history lesson about Darksaber, how it was forged by a Jedi and Mandalorian. Let's see the first of House Vizsla. Forgotten his name. Hold on, let me just I'm just gonna get up the wiki page again. Tarai Vizsla, sorry, and all that stuff. And how he forged the weapon, United Mandalore. Let's see, and how Din Djarin learns about Bo-Katan, about how she's regarded as a pretender by the armorer, how she did not win the Darksaber in combat, and those that do not win it are cursed, and a cursed reign and all that stuff, which she says that was the case with Bo-Katan. She was given the Darksaber, not won it by battle. As a result, Mandalore got destroyed by the Empire, as we kind of see a flashback of the Empire's bombardment, and the reason why the Children of the Watch survived was because they were on the exiled moon of Concordia, as we see TIE bombers and the KO2 droids. It's been a while since I've seen these types of droids. Well, in fact, since I've watched Rogue One, as you can probably tell, but let's see. the KX series security droids, in which they were used to purge and shoot down, Imperial Mandalorian remnants when they, blow up the thing, as we end up seeing the capital of Mandalore from the Clone Wars being blown up. All that stuff. Anyway, let's see. The Mandalorian is welcome back as he explains that the youngling is back, Grogu is back, and gives like the Mandalorian spear Beskar spear that he got from Ahsoka Tano. As the armor reveals that Berserker armor is not Berserker metal is not meant to be made into weapons, as it can tear the armor. So instead, it will be reforged into an armor and all that stuff. In which Din Djarin requests that it be turned into armor for the Foundling, in which he intends it to be for Grogu, even though the armor says that Grogu is back with its own kind, but Mando wants to do it, as he learns a bit about the conflicting beliefs of the Jedi and all that stuff. Which just goes to show that, I guess, even under Luke Skywalker, the whole non-attachment thing is still a plaything and all that stuff, but sort of, I guess. But anyway, as the Mando starts to help a bit, he ends up also getting some training from the armorer, but however, due to the fact that he's trying to control the Darksaber, not let it move with it, he's having a struggle with it. Eventually, Paz Vizsla decides to challenge the Mandalorian to a fight to claim the Darksaber, since it was a part of his family. They duel for a bit. The Mando wins, but however, the armorer then asks the question, have you ever moved your helmet, or have anyone seen your face? Which, of course, Paz Vizsla hasn't, but as we know, the Mandalorian has done that to quite a few people, at least during Season 2, that were living creatures. Well, granted, also in Season 1 with, the bounty hunter with the assassin droid, but the IG-8 droid, but, of course, non-living thing, so it's a technicality. But the Mandalorian, under Creed, swears by oath that, yes, he has, in which, as a result, he is no longer part of the tribe and all that stuff. However, the Mando, desperate and begs for forgiveness, asks how he can be redeemed. She tells him the only way to do so is in the waters beneath the mines of Mandalore itself. However, Mando then knows that those mines have been destroyed, giving the implication that he can never truly be redeemed in the eyes of his clan, if you will, or in the Watch. So you're now forced to leave and all that stuff. Eventually, after getting a commercial transport to Tatooine, which there's a very funny scene where the security droid there saying, no weapons. So you see Mando getting stripped and all that stuff. It says, you better, I remember every single weapon. It was really funny. There's one of those security things on the passenger after weapons detections and all that stuff. Eventually, he's back on Tatooine, in which he is there to see Pelo Motto after helping her out from a creature that was trying to bite one of her droids. The same droid, I think, let's see, hold on, let's see, droids, a BD unit. Yeah, the same droid that was your companion for, your sort of droid companion for Jedi Fallen Order, but clearly not the same one. But heck, it's finally made a live action debut. All that stuff. So apparently, the Mando has hired her to get him a new ship, and thinking he's getting a Razor Crest, instead gets a Naboo starfighter. No, it's not complete yet, and the Mando isn't quite happy because he assumed it was a new Razor Crest. She says, I can get you a replacement. At first, he wants to, pass on the deal and all that stuff, but she convinces him to at least help her repair it, test it out, and see if it works. And meantime, the Mando says that if he gets a Razor Crest, he's swapping it up and all that stuff. So you see a montage of them working together, getting some Jawas to get them some parts with the Mando, particularly requesting. And it's funny how he eventually asks them, how'd you get in? It's to go about how they got it from sneaking around the Pikes and all that stuff, giving more hints about how the Pikes are starting to take over Tatooine, full of spice, and how it's actually troubling everyone. And the Mando eventually paying them, which is kind of spoil. Let's see, Palamoto says you'll spoil it. Also, I should probably mention that R5 is there. The droid from episode 4 that originally was supposed to be taken by the Larses, but had bad motivators. Yukiko, it somehow ended up in her care. But anyway, no, granted that we might have known that from episode before. Anyway, the Naboo starfighter eventually gets completed, so the Mando ends up giving it for a test flight, in which we end up seeing in many ways we hear the old pod race sounds from episode 1, The Phantom Menace, when it's traveling in the pod racing arena, as we see how as that's where the Mandalorian goes to eventually flying around the transport we saw earlier, in which I should probably mention earlier, the Rodian kid was curious about his armor and ends up seeing him flying on the ship, to eventually being a nod to episode 2 of season 2 of The Mandalorian. 2 X-wings end up pulling him over, asking for identification and stuff, and Karsari Tevar, the captain there, ends up starting to get starts giving him pass, but starts to think that, okay, your voice sounds familiar. We're on the Razor Crest, and there are rumors about something that's going on the Imperials and all that stuff. Guessing that's the Mando. However, the Mando doesn't want to go for questioning. Ends up testing out the hyperdrive they ends up escaping their notice, with Captain Carson Teva saying that, no, let's not pursue, otherwise it's a lot of paperwork. Eventually, coming back to Palamoto, saying that quite the success, mentions that a friend came to visit him, but she didn't give him any info and locked the place. However, Fennec Shan has managed to sneak through and all that stuff. Greetings to the Mando and all that stuff. With Palamoto kind of getting a little disappointed that security was busted and all that stuff. But anyway, he looks off. Anyway, Fennec Shand starts to hire Mando, offers to hire Mando from us. But Din Djarin, known as Boba, says it's on the house and that stuff. But before he does, he wants to visit an old friend, which we all probably know is Baby Grogu, aka Baby Yoda. Holy moly, this episode was so good. So good. I am still fanboying the heck out of it. In many ways, the most shocking thing is that this is probably the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett, but it's also the one episode that doesn't have Boba Fett. In many ways, like I said earlier, it's pretty much episode 17 of The Mandalorian. Well, granted, the Book of Boba Fett is regarded as season 2.5 of The Mandalorian. But yeah, in many ways, if you're only just interested in The Mandalorian, you're probably just you're gonna skip the Boba Fett episodes, though I'd argue against not doing so. But you could probably go from, the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorians to this episode. But yeah, it's shocking to think that this is one episode about Boba Fett. But anyway, I like how we see that somehow, despite this whole thing with Bo-Katan, Din Djarin was able to still keep the Darksaber. Seems to parted ways with her for at least, but who knows? We're probably going to see her again sooner or later. But he's keeping the Darksaber and is using it a bit. But as we've seen, that he's not quite efficient with it to the way Pre-Vizsla, I think, was, or even Sabine, because, well, she got trained by, Karen Javis and all that stuff. But either way, he ends up even accidentally wounding himself. And there's a few funny moments. I do like how he's you can either come quietly or, cold or warm and all that stuff, and then offers, the remaining workers saying, let me through and you can have all the money that's in the storage and all that stuff. But yeah, I do like how he's I just want the information you promised to the client and all that stuff, even though she wants him to sit down and eat with them. But of course, Mandalorians don't wish to see masks and so their faces and eat them with people. So let's see. Anyway, and finally we get it was finally great to see the return of the Forger, in which we have not seen her since, the first season with episode 8. The last we saw her was taking out a bunch of stormtroopers, and we learned that Oops, hold on. Let me just get the episode up again. Let's see. The armorer, Paz Fizzler. Also survived though. For some reason, not being voiced by Jon Favreau. At least I didn't hear his voice in him, but I could be wrong. But yeah. It turns out that we finally learned that only those two besides Din Djarin are left of the Watch, at least this tribe of the Watch. And all that stuff. So let's see. So all I have to do now is try and rebuild and find new foundlings and all that stuff. However, of course, there's a bit of tension as Din Djarin has the Darksaber and all that stuff, in which we end up getting a bit of history dump about and some of the legends about the Darksaber. Those who probably remember, if those who've seen Star Wars Rebels already know who forged the Darksaber, but it seems like the legends about it can only be. Apparently, it's also made of berserker metal, which probably explains why the hilt has never been destroyed and all that stuff. Anyway, from what I understand, from what I can understand from the legends about, it's interesting how the legends you must win it by combat, or if not, your reign and rule is cursed. And apparently, this is how the armorer, who does not seem to have much respect for Bo-Katan and feels her as like a false pretender, probably because take the mask, and also because her family bloodline. Because of her so-called family bloodline, because her sister ruled Mandalore, and I think probably some family members before that with the new Mandalorians. They ended up, due to the fact that she did not win it and was given to it, from Sabine and all that stuff. Her rule cursed Mandalore, and they lost the planet and all that stuff. So apparently that was her. So she blames her for that. So it'll be very interesting to see if Bo-Katan and the armorer eventually cross paths, because I can tell that there's going to be some tension there between the two. But yeah. But yeah, so that's the most interesting aspect about that. So, but as but it's interesting how Din Djarin still feels like Grogu is a part of his clan and all that stuff, and wants to get and use the Berserker spear that he got from Ahsoka from that that encounter from episode 5 of the season 2 of the Mandalorian, and to make it something for Grogu and all that stuff. Clearly, some sort of some Mandalorian helmet or something, but. Or some sort of Mandalorian armor specifically for the Yoda species, which would be kind of cool to see, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Well, it's interesting to see how it will go down. However, it's interesting how the armor at first tries to train Mando, but of course he's not accepting fully embracing the Darksaber, struggles. However, Paz Fizzler cannot resist trying to claim the Darksaber for due to his clan founding it, saying it should rightfully belong to him. And we get to see him fighting with a bit of a knife in one of those Mando mini force field shields that we saw in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. It's a quite good fight, but eventually Mando grabbing him around the neck. However, winning the fight. However, the armor, of course, finally asks the question, as we know that this was probably coming the next time he saw the armor and whatever remained of the tribe. As we know, Mando remains silent, and the armor keeps pressing, remembering he's sworn under oath, and that, of course, due to the fact he's not allowed to show it. He finally confesses that he has. As a result, he is no longer part of their clan, or no longer considered Mandalorian, at least by the Watch and all that stuff. However, as we know, for Din Djarin, being a Mandalorian means everything to him, so he is asking for forgiveness, trying to redeem and all that stuff. And of course, we end up learning that the only way to have a redemption is to be bathed into the waters of the mines of Mandalore. Although due to the Mandalorian's current state, and the mines are destroyed, there's no way of going there. So So at the moment, it looks like for Mando, there is no way to redeem himself, but something tells me that this is probably what's going to lead into Mandalorian Season 3 onwards. The Mandalorian possibly trying to return to Mandalore somehow, trying to find the mines of Mandalore to try and bathe in the waters so he can become part of the clan again. I assume that probably due to the fact that he still wields the Darksaber. Many Mandalorians are going to probably try and come after him to try and claim the right to rule and all that stuff. So that's probably going to be what probably Din Djarin's going to deal with, trying to redeem himself for his particular faction of the Mandalorians, while probably going to have to deal with other factions of Mandalorians wanting to try and claim the Darksaber so they can rule Mandalore. The interpolitics of Mandalorians and that stuff. But anyway, speaking of Mandalore, it was really nice to see the actual Night of a Thousand Sorrows, or the Mandalorian purge or genocide, if you will, in which we see the Empire bombing their planet, including seeing the city, from Mandalore from the outskirts of all that stuff being destroyed, seeing them using the KX droids to kill off any remaining survivors. That was great. Anyway, in many ways, Tatooine, it was great to see Palamoto again with her droids and all that stuff, including seeing R5 and one of the PD droids that, from Jedi Fallen Order. Not really in your face, but there's a nice little nod there and all that stuff. And the chemistry between Palamoto and the Mandalorian is really great with him. With her trying to make small talk with him and trying to him to open up to using the Naboo starfighter, which I have to admit, this episode had jam-packed full of a lot of episode 1 references and Easter eggs. And as a fan of the Phantom Menace, I absolutely loved it. I loved seeing the Naboo starfighter and seeing this sort of modern update, if you will, where it's mostly rebuilt from scraps parts and mostly silver with only a few bit flashes of yellows. I know. I'm not sure how many fans feel about the Naboo starfighter, but I hope that after with the Mandalorian's own version, this will probably get a lot more Naboo starfighter merchandise and all that stuff, and probably maybe some more of the OT purists who hate the prequels, perhaps a bit more open to the ship's design. But yeah, it's also nice to see just the Mando testing it out. In the pod race that arena that Anakin actually went and won and all that stuff. That was great to see and see how old it seems to become. I'm not sure if anyone's even doing pod races now in Tatooine anymore, but who knows? I do like how we got a bit of an update there. It's clearly from a reference from when Palamoto talking with hiring Jawas. It's really funny how she goes on about how she dated a Jawa and about how furry they are, giving this idea of what they might be underneath those hoods and all that. Might be more underneath those hoods and all that clothing and all that stuff. But yeah, that the Pikes are starting to affect everyone and all that stuff, so everyone's on edge. So that builds more up to the season plot line of this season, all that stuff. But yeah, I do like that there's also some nod to from the Mandalorian with you got 2 Republic starfighters, including the return of Carson Teva, saying how realizing that this is probably Mando and that I've met this guy before, but Mando of course is able to escape. And I do like how a kid Rodian has been fascinated by Mando. Also the whole airplane transport seeing with the airplane scanning for weapons was also funny, and him having to give them all up. But yeah, but the main highlight is the fact that Fennec Shan is offering Din Djarin to get to come help Boba Fett, which given that Din Djarin has gained quite the friendship with Boba, is willing to do it on the house. But of course, the main hype for the cliffhanger is the fact that Mando wants to come see Grogu again. So who knows? Does that mean that next episode we're going to see Luke Skywalker and Baby Yoda, possibly for a bit? Which I'm wondering how this is going to tie in, because we have 2 episodes left of the Book of Boba Fett, and so we should probably be building off to this finale where Boba Fett is going to be going to war with, with the Pikes thing. So how's that going to go? I assume that the stuff with perhaps Luke Skywalker and Grogu is going to be brief, though. For we know, but it's maybe possible that Luke Skywalker gets brought into this conflict, and who knows? Given the fact that apparently there's alleged rumors that Harrison Ford is returning as Han Solo for this season, who knows? This might be how he also gets involved, as he might be with Luke Skywalker at this moment. Who knows? We might even see Ben Solo and all that stuff, but who knows? It might just be them going there and then quickly coming here as they prepare for, like, the War of the Pikes and all that stuff. So that will be quite interesting to see. Overall, let's see. I think I'll give this episode a 10 out of 10. Let's see. It was great seeing Mando back. Let's see. In many ways, it really is like a Mandalorian episode on the Book of Boba Fett, but it's interesting to have an episode without your main character in. Instead, it's like let's see. Let's see. The second main character, Fennec Shand, and all that stuff. But who knows? Though I assume that we'll probably get a lot more Boba Fett in the following few episodes, but I wonder, let's see, so yeah. I'm not sure how long, let's see, but yeah, this episode was like 51 minutes, I think, so who knows. I assume the next 2 episodes will probably be around the 50s, and who knows, maybe they'll surprise us and even do an hour-long episode, but overall, I'm looking forward to it. That's it. Either way, I'm Blue Star Saber, signing off. May the Force be with you, and goodbye.